The small courthouse stood quiet, its old wooden floors creaking beneath the weight of unspoken stories. Emma Williams sat in the front row, her dark blue blazer pressed carefully, her fingers nervously tracing the edge of her briefcase. At 35, she carried the dreams of her small technology startup, a business born from countless sleepless nights and unwavering determination. Judge Thomas Roberts adjusted his glasses, his weathered face revealing years of legal experience. He looked down from the bench, his stern gaze sweeping across the courtroom. Emma knew this moment was more than just a simple traffic ticket. It was a test, another challenge in a life filled with obstacles. Her mind drifted back to her childhood, in a tiny apartment, where her mother worked double shifts to keep food on the table. She remembered the old computer her uncle had gifted her, a beaten-up machine that became her window to a world of possibilities. Those early days of learning, coding in the dim light of their small living room, had planted the seeds of her current journey. The courtroom felt heavy with tension. Emma could feel the judging eyes around her, some curious, some skeptical. She knew what they saw, a young black woman who looked slightly out of place. But she was so much more than their assumptions. Her startup, TechBridge Solutions, was more than just a company. It was a mission to bring innovative technology to communities that had been overlooked for too long. She had spent the last 3 years building something meaningful, fighting against every doubt and obstacle. The traffic violation that brought her here today was almost laughable. She had been rushing to a crucial meeting, a potential breakthrough for her company. A moment of hurried driving, a momentary lapse in attention, and now she found herself facing a judge who seemed to have already made up his mind. Judge Roberts cleared his throat. "Ms. Williams," he began, his voice crisp and authoritative, "do you understand the importance of following traffic regulations?" Emma took a deep breath. She had learned long ago that staying calm was her greatest strength. "Yes, Your Honor," she responded, her voice steady and clear. The judge's pen tapped against the wooden bench, creating a rhythmic sound that seemed to echo her racing heartbeat. She could feel the weight of expectation, not just in this courtroom, but in every room she had ever entered as a young black entrepreneur. Her startup was more than just a business. It was a dream of creating technology that could help communities like the one she grew up in. She had turned down lucrative job offers from big tech companies, choosing instead to build something of her own. Every dollar was hard-fought, every achievement a testament to her resilience. Emma thought about the late nights of coding, the meetings where she had to prove herself twice as hard to be taken half as seriously. She thought about her team, young professionals who believed in her vision, who had left secure jobs to join her mission. The courtroom seemed to hold its breath. Judge Roberts studied her, his initial stern expression slowly softening. Something in Emma's demeanor caught his attention, a quiet confidence that spoke volumes about her journey. Outside the window, the small town continued its daily rhythm. Cars passed, people walked, but inside this courtroom, a moment of possibility was unfolding. Emma knew that life often turned on such moments, unexpected encounters that could change everything. Her phone buzzed softly in her pocket. She knew it might be her team, waiting to hear about the outcome of this hearing. But she remained focused, respectful, understanding that this moment was about more than just a traffic ticket. Judge Roberts shuffled some papers, his movements deliberate and measured. Emma waited, her heart racing but her exterior calm. She had faced much harder challenges than this. She had built a company from nothing, turned down easier paths, and continued to push forward. In that moment, she represented something bigger than herself, a testament to hard work, determination, and the belief that one person could make a difference. The courtroom waited, suspended in a moment of anticipation. The courtroom hummed with a quiet tension as Judge Roberts examined the documents before him. Emma remained still, her composure a shield against the uncertainty of the moment. Her phone buzzed again, a notification that made her heart skip a beat. A message from her lead investor glowed softly on the screen. They were close to closing a major funding round, a breakthrough that could change everything for her startup. Her fingers trembled slightly as she read the details, careful not to draw attention in the formal courtroom. Judge Roberts noticed her reaction. Something about the way her eyes lit up, the subtle change in her posture caught his attention. He remembered his own daughter, a young professional who had fought similar battles in the corporate world. The judge saw beyond the surface, recognizing a familiar determination. Emma's startup, TechBridge Solutions, was more than just a business. It was a mission to bring technology to communities that had been left behind. She had spent years developing solutions that could help small towns improve their infrastructure, create job opportunities, and bridge technological gaps. The judge cleared his throat. "Ms. Williams," he said, his tone softening slightly, "would you like to explain the circumstances of your traffic violation?" Her eyes met his, a moment of connection passing between them. Emma knew this was more than just a routine hearing. Every interaction was an opportunity, a chance to prove her worth, to challenge the assumptions people made about her. She thought about her journey, growing up in a small apartment, learning coding on an old computer, saving every penny to start her dream. The road had been anything but smooth. Investors who didn't take her seriously, technical challenges that seemed insurmountable, moments of doubt that threatened to crush her spirit. But she had persevered. The courtroom felt different now. The initial tension began to dissolve, replaced by a sense of curiosity. People leaned forward slightly, sensing that something extraordinary was about to unfold. Emma's mind raced through the details of her startup. They were developing smart technology for small communities, systems that could help local governments improve services, create more efficient infrastructure, and support economic growth. It wasn't just about technology. It was about creating opportunities. Judge Roberts watched her carefully. He saw something familiar in her eyes, the same spark of ambition he had seen in his own children. The initial judgmental look had transformed into something more nuanced, more understanding. Her phone buzzed again. Another message from her team, waiting to hear about the hearing. Emma took a deep breath, knowing that this moment could change everything. She had faced harder challenges, pitch meetings where investors dismissed her, technical problems that seemed impossible to solve. The courtroom seemed to hold its breath. Outside, the world continued, cars passing, people walking, life moving forward. But inside this small space, something significant was happening. Emma represented more than just herself. She was a symbol of possibility, of dreams that refused to be limited by circumstances or expectations. Her startup was proof that innovation could come from anywhere, that talent wasn't defined by background or appearance. Judge Roberts shuffled some papers, his movements deliberate. Emma waited, her heart racing but her exterior calm. She had learned long ago that composure was her greatest strength. Every challenge was an opportunity to prove herself, to show the world what she was capable of achieving. The notification on her phone continued to glow, a potential funding round that could transform her startup. A moment of professional triumph balanced against this unexpected legal challenge. Something was changing in the courtroom. The initial judgment was melting away, replaced by a growing sense of respect. Judge Roberts saw beyond the surface. He saw a professional, a dreamer, a creator of possibilities. Emma understood that life often turned on such moments, unexpected encounters that could change everything. Her journey had been about more than just building a company. It was about proving that potential knows no boundaries, that dreams could be born in the most unexpected places. The judge leaned forward, a spark of genuine interest replacing his initial stern expression. "Ms. Williams," he said, his voice different now, "tell me more about your work." And just like that, everything changed. Emma took a deep breath, her hands resting calmly on the wooden table. The courtroom seemed to hold, its collective breath waiting for her words. She began to tell her story, not just about a traffic violation, but about a journey of hope and determination. "Your Honor," she started, her voice clear and steady, "I was rushing to a critical meeting about our community technology project. TechBridge Solutions is working to help small towns improve their infrastructure and create new opportunities. Judge Roberts leaned forward, his initial stern expression softening. Emma explained how her startup developed smart technology solutions for communities that had been left behind. She spoke about algorithms that could help local governments make better decisions, create more efficient services, and support economic growth. Her words painted a picture of possibility. She described working with small towns that struggled with outdated systems, communities where technology could make a real difference. It wasn't just about computers or software. It was about giving people hope, creating pathways to progress. The courtroom listened, people who had been half asleep. Her phone buzzed softly, another message from her team. But she remained focused, her eyes meeting the judge's. She knew this moment was about more than just a traffic ticket. It was about proving her worth, challenging assumptions, showing what was possible. The courtroom felt different now. The initial tension had transformed into something else: curiosity, respect, a sense of possibility. People leaned forward, captivated by her story. They saw beyond the surface, a young black woman who was creating real change. Judge Roberts remembered his own daughter's struggles in the corporate world. He recognized the same determination, the same fire that had driven his own family forward. Emma wasn't just telling a story. She was revealing a vision of the future. She talked about the challenges, the investors who didn't take her seriously, the technical obstacles, the moments of doubt. But she had never given up. Every setback was a lesson, every challenge an opportunity to grow stronger. Our technology is about more than just lines of code, Emma said, her voice filled with passion. It's about helping communities find their potential. We're creating tools that can make a real difference in people's lives. The judge's pen had stopped moving. He was listening intently, fully engaged by her story. The initial judgmental look had completely disappeared, replaced by genuine interest and respect. Emma's journey wasn't just her own. It represented something bigger: the power of innovation, the potential of technology to create real change. She spoke about her team, young professionals who believed in the mission, who had left secure jobs to be part of something meaningful. Outside, the world continued. Cars passed, people walked, life moved forward. But inside this courtroom, something special was happening. A moment of understanding was unfolding, challenging assumptions, breaking down barriers. Judge Roberts saw beyond the surface. He saw a professional, a dreamer, a creator of possibilities. Emma represented hope. The idea that with determination, passion, and hard work, anything was possible. Her story was a testament to resilience. Growing up with limited resources, she had turned challenges into opportunities. Each obstacle had been a stepping stone, each difficulty a chance to prove her potential. The courtroom was silent, captivated. Emma's passion filled the space, transforming what had started as a simple traffic hearing into something much more profound. And in that moment, everything changed. The silence in the courtroom felt electric. Judge Roberts leaned forward, his weathered hands resting on the wooden bench. Something about Emma's story had touched something deep within him, a reminder of his own family's struggles and hopes. "Ms. Williams," he said softly, "tell me more about your startup." Emma took a careful breath. She knew this moment was delicate, a chance to share her vision. Her fingers traced the edge of her briefcase, a constant reminder of the journey that had brought her here. She began to explain TechBridge Solutions, her words carefully chosen. The startup wasn't just a business, it was a mission to bring technology to communities that had been forgotten. Small towns with limited resources, places where innovation could make a real difference. The judge's eyes changed, no longer stern. They now held a genuine curiosity. He thought about his own daughter, a professional who had fought similar battles, who understood the challenges of breaking through barriers. Emma shared stories of their recent projects, how they had helped a small rural town redesign its emergency response system, how their technology had saved the local government thousands of dollars, created new job opportunities, brought hope to a community that had been struggling. Her phone buzzed quietly, another message from her team. But Emma remained focused, her passion filling the courtroom. She spoke about the challenges, the late nights of coding, the investors who didn't understand, the moments of doubt that had threatened to destroy her dream. Judge Roberts listened intently. He recognized something familiar, the same determination he had seen in his own children. Emma wasn't just presenting a business, she was sharing a vision of possibility. "We're not just creating technology," Emma explained. "We're creating opportunities. Our systems help communities solve real problems, create pathways for growth." The courtroom had transformed. What had begun as a simple traffic hearing had become something much more profound. People leaned forward, captivated by her story. They saw beyond the surface, a young black woman who was changing the world. She talked about growing up in a small apartment, watching her mother work multiple jobs. Those experiences had shaped her understanding of community, of the real challenges people faced. Technology wasn't just about computers, it was about solving human problems. The judge's pen had stopped moving. He was fully engaged now, seeing beyond the initial assumptions. Emma represented something powerful, the idea that innovation could come from anywhere, that potential was not limited by background or circumstance. Emma shared a story about their latest project, a technology system that helped small towns manage their resources more effectively. It was more than just a technical solution. It was a lifeline for communities that had been left behind. Her voice was steady, her passion evident. She spoke about her team, young professionals who believed in the mission, who had left secure jobs to be part of something meaningful. Each team member represented a dream, a hope for something better. Judge Roberts saw himself in her story. He remembered his own struggles, the challenges his family had overcome. Emma wasn't just presenting a business case. She was sharing a universal story of hope, of determination. The courtroom felt different now. The initial tension had disappeared, replaced by a sense of possibility. People saw beyond the surface, a professional who was creating real change, who was challenging every assumption. Outside, the world continued. But inside this small space, something extraordinary was happening. A moment of true connection was unfolding, beyond race, beyond background, beyond initial judgments. Emma's phone buzzed again. Another message from her investor, another potential breakthrough. But she remained focused on the moment, understanding that sometimes the most important connections happen in the most unexpected places. The judge leaned back, a subtle smile breaking through his typically stern demeanor. He had seen many cases, heard many stories, but this was different. This was something special. In that moment, everything changed. A simple traffic hearing had become a testament to human potential, to the power of dreams, to the possibility of breaking through barriers. And Emma stood at the center of it all, a beacon of hope, a creator of possibilities. The final moment arrived with a quiet intensity that seemed to pause time itself. Judge Roberts looked down at the traffic ticket, then back at Emma. Something profound had shifted in the courtroom, an understanding that went far beyond a simple legal proceeding. "Case dismissed," he announced, his voice carrying a weight of unexpected compassion. Emma's eyes filled with tears, not of sadness but of relief, of triumph. This was more than a legal victory. It was a moment of human connection, of breaking through invisible barriers that had stood for too long. The courtroom seemed to breathe. People who had been silent now whispered, exchanging looks of surprise and admiration. Emma's resilience had touched something deep within everyone present. Her story was more than her own. It was a testament to every dreamer who had ever been overlooked. Judge Roberts stepped down from the bench. His movements were different now, less formal, more human. "Ms. Williams," he said, extending his hand, "your work sounds remarkable." Emma's startup, TechBridge Solutions, represented more than just a business. It was a beacon of hope for communities forgotten by traditional technology. Her journey represented every person who had ever been told they couldn't succeed. Outside. The courthouse, the small town, continued its daily rhythm. Cars passed, people walked, but something had changed. A story of possibility had just unfolded within those old wooden walls. Her phone continued to buzz. Messages from her team, from investors, all waiting to hear about the hearing. But Emma was focused on this moment of unexpected connection. The judge, who had initially seemed so stern, now looked at her with genuine respect. "I'd like to learn more about your work," Judge Roberts said. "Perhaps we could discuss how your technology might help our local government." Emma's heart raced. This was more than she could have imagined when she walked into the courthouse that morning. A simple traffic ticket had transformed into an opportunity, a chance to share her vision, to create real change. She thought about her journey, the late nights of coding, the investors who had rejected her, the moments of doubt that had threatened to destroy her dreams. Each challenge had been a stepping stone, each difficulty a lesson in perseverance. The courtroom began to empty, but Emma and the judge remained in conversation. They talked about technology, about community, about the potential to create real change. It was a conversation that would extend far beyond these walls. Her startup represented something powerful, the idea that innovation could come from anywhere. That potential was not limited by background, by race, by initial assumptions. Emma was proof that dreams could break through any barrier. As she walked out of the courthouse, the world seemed different. The sun felt warmer, the possibilities more expansive. What had begun as a potentially difficult day had transformed into a moment of true connection. Judge Roberts watched her leave, a subtle smile breaking through his typically stern demeanor. He recognized something special, a vision, a passion that went far beyond traditional boundaries. Emma's phone buzzed again, the investor's message about the funding round still glowing on the screen. But she was focused on the moment, on the unexpected journey that had just unfolded. The street outside was busy with people going about their day. Cars passed, people walked, life continued. But something had changed. A story of possibility, of breaking through barriers, had just been written. Her team would be waiting to hear about the hearing. But Emma knew this was more than just a legal victory. This was a moment of transformation, of proving that dreams could overcome any obstacle. As she walked, she thought about her mother, the woman who had worked multiple jobs, who had taught her that determination was the greatest gift. This moment was a tribute to every dreamer who had been told they couldn't succeed. The courthouse stood behind her, a symbol of the barriers she had just broken through. But Emma was looking forward, to her startup, to her mission, to the possibilities that lay ahead. A new beginning had just emerged from an unexpected moment, and everything was possible.